Hi there. It's February 16th and time for Proverbs 16. Still the contrast, the upright and the wicked, the good and the bad. Okay. And this is written for followers, people that fear the Lord and follow his paths, and people that don't. Hey. Plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Right? God's going to have his way, no matter what. 2, all the ways of men are clean in his own sight, but the Lord weighs the motives. Or spirits. God knows why you want to do something. You think you want to do something for a good reason? God knows the ulterior motive that you have. Right? 3. Commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. Can you do that? Can you commit everything you're doing to the Lord? Kind of goes up here. The plans of the heart belong to the man. Answer of the tongue is from the Lord. And the Lord weighs your motives, right? Commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. God willing. See? The Lord has made everything for its own purpose, even the wicked for the day of evil. Okay? You got to ask why there's evil in the world. Well, without sadness, we wouldn't know what happiness was. Without evil, we wouldn't know what good was. It would just be stagnant, right? You have to have the contrast there, right? The wicked is made for the day of evil. Got that? 5, everyone who is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Assuredly, he will not be unpunished. That's a big statement. Pride, okay? Pride is an abomination to the Lord. Are you proud of yourself? Are you haughty? Are you arrogant? Are you conceited? You think you know more than everybody else? That's pride. God hates pride. It's an abomination. Assuredly, he will not be unpunished, the prideful. Right? Other verse in there said, pride goes before a fall, always. That's important. Okay? By loving kindness and truth, iniquity is atoned for. And by the fear of the Lord, one keeps away from evil. Right? Reverence. Fear or reverence of the Lord. One keeps away from evil, right? You're following God all the time. You're staying away from evil. Everybody, mercy. Mercy. Their upright and repenting life shall be a token that their sins are forgiven. Right? Truth and iniquity, sins are forgiven. That's what iniquity is atoned for. Right? By the fear of the Lord, keep away from evil. Okay? That's it. Living your repentance and grace and what Jesus has done for you. Okay? 7, when a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, he makes his enemies, even his enemies, to be at peace with him. Okay? Usually just by leaving you alone, right? Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice. That's a big one, right? Better to have a little and be righteous. That should be green. Right. Green. Okay, take it away. See, now it's not going to let me change it. There you go. Better is a little with righteousness, right? Than great income with injustice. You could expound on that, right? Okay, this goes along with verse 1. The mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Right? And what was first one? The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Right? Follow the Lord, he will direct your steps. That means you won't misstep. Right? 10, a divine decision is in the lips of the king. His mouth should not err in judgment. Kings. Right? We only have one king now, and that's Jesus. Here's this again, 11. A just balance and scales belong to the Lord. All the weights in the bag are his concern. Okay? He talks about this a lot. Okay? People cheating other people. A just balance. They used to weigh everything on scales. Right? And the weights had to be accurate. Or you're cheating somebody. Right? Goes on even today. Yeah. Inflations. Bigger packages with smaller amounts inside at a higher price. 12, it is an abomination for kings to commit wicked acts, for a throne is established on righteousness. Some kings do, huh? But they will all be found out. It says that too. Everything will come to light. Hey, righteous lips are the delight of kings, and he who speaks right is loved. Do that. Righteous lips are the delight of kings. 14, the fury of a king is like the messengers of death, but a wise man will appease it. 15, in the light of a king's face is life, and the favor is like the cloud with the spring rain. See, this is a lot of talk about kings, and we don't have that kind of form of government anymore. You know, it seems like all the governments that do have kings and one ruler that makes all the rules, and you have to please him. If you get him angry, he can kill you or everybody if he wants to. Yeah. Don't have that much anymore. There are some countries that do, and most countries that do. You know, they're evil. Not all, but some are very benevolent and kind, and they care about their people. Right? Okay, this is good. How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and get understanding than chosen silver. It's above silver. Okay? Getting wisdom is better than money of any kind. Jewels, gold, silver. Right? And understanding is just as important, that you understand the wisdom you're getting. Right? It's like, are you memorizing these so they're just memorized and you can spout them off, or do you know them and understand them, okay, and can expound on them? Okay? That's why we're doing it over and over again. 17, the highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He who watches his way preserves his life. Or soul, right? The path of the righteous is to decline from evil. I like it better over here. And he keepeth his soul that keepeth his way. Highway of the upright or the righteous is to depart from evil. Stay away from that stuff, right? Here it is. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling. Right? I said that would be in here, didn't I? When we were talking about everyone who is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Why? Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling. Right? That's a fall. Before the fall, it says over here. 19, it is better to be humble in spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Absolutely. God loves a humble person. Okay? You be humble and let other people build you up. Okay? And then it's honor and not pride. Okay? It's good to be honored. 20. He who gives attention to the word will find good, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. Right? That's what we're doing now. Giving attention to the word. We're going to highlight this whole chapter, aren't we? Wise in heart will be called understanding, and sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness. What? That's sweetness of speech. Lips. Learning. Right? Kind things. I say this every day. Only kind things, uplifting, edifying things should come out of your mouth, right? You can even rebuke somebody with kind words, okay? You don't have to say, you're doing that wrong. You can say, I can see you're trying very hard at that, but there's a better way to do it if you'd like me to show you. Okay? There. You can even rebuke somebody with kindness. You can. Okay? Wisdom has been chasing you, but you have always been faster. That's not a nice thing to say, but yeah. And the kinder you are, it increases persuasiveness, right? 22. Understanding is a fountain of life to one who has it, but the discipline of fools is folly or foolishness, right? Talk about understanding a lot, okay? We're concentrating more on the understanding part of it there than just getting wisdom, because understanding goes right along with it, right? You have to know what these things mean, right? Oh, I got one word. Understand. The heart of the wise instructs his mouth and adds persuasiveness to his lips. All right, learning. Heart of the wise instructs his mouth. Right? Know when to shut up. That's very important. Most of the time, it's better to say nothing at all. But when you do, speak only kind things. Right? The heart of the wise adds persuasiveness to his lips. That's learning, okay? Doctrine, learning. 24. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Right? Say kind things. It's all over here. Say kind things. Sweet to the soul and healing to the bones, not hurtful. Right? 25. There is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Always commit your plans to the Lord, like it says up there. And don't do what you think is right. Do what's right. Right? Its end is the way of death. 26. A worker's appetite works for him, for his hunger urges him on. Right? If you're hungry, you're going to work. Right? It's been made too easy for people that don't want to work to eat now, right? And sometimes they eat better than people that are working. That's not the way to do things, okay? 27. A worthless man digs up evil, while his words are like a scorching fire. What is this? Did you put that into one word, this verse? Gossip. Gossip, lying, rumors, right? It digs up evil, while his words are a scorching fire on his lips. Right? And this goes right here, goes along with it. A perverse man spreads strife, and a slanderer or a gossip separates intimate friends. right? I talk about this all the time. Gossip is one of the worst things plaguing the world today. It's all over the media. It's all over the television, right? Getting into other people's business and not honoring them with the good that they've done. Talking about the one mistake or the one fall and making it so big that the whole world is talking about it when it has nothing to do with you, okay? Now, in the church, it's a little different, but just as poisonous, okay? Somebody comes up to his friend and says, I'm having problems in this area. Can you pray for me? Certainly. Please don't tell anybody. Right. I won't. But you do. Okay, well, Bob needs prayer. He's having trouble in this area, and we need to pray for him. You're trying to get 2 or 3 together, but you didn't tell that person it was a secret, and Bob said not to tell anybody. But you told somebody, and that person doesn't know, so he's going to tell somebody else. Pretty soon the whole church is going to know about it, and somebody's going to come up to Bob and say, Bob, I'm sorry you're having trouble in this area. We're praying for you. And then Bob's going to think, I told this to one person, one intimate friend, and now everybody knows about it. You have lost that intimate friend. He will never speak to you again because you betrayed his confidence. That's gossip. It has separated churches. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Mind your own business, okay? You could tell I'm particularly, that's my soapbox, is gossip, right? 29, a man of violence entices his neighbor and leads him in a way that is not good. I've never been a person of violence. I've always been kind of a pacifist. But you can get anybody's dander up, right, at some point. 30, he who winks his eye does so to devise perverse things. He who compresses his lips brings evil to pass. And there used to be, before it was internet and that's all, these are scammers, okay? They're called scammers now. They used to be called cheaters, liars, okay? Like the stereotypical used car salesman, right? This car was only driven to church on Sundays by a little old lady, right? When some teenagers been tearing it up for 2 years, okay? But they want to sell the car and make money, so they're going to lie to you, right? Wink their eye and devise perverse things, right? When someone winks his eye, that means there's somebody else involved, okay? There's a gang, there's a group of people scamming another person. It's a good car. Yeah, it's a good car. I know for sure. And somebody else is saying it, and they're winking their eyes and pressing their lips. And right now, it's all done on the phone, so you got to look very carefully at the wording, right? And the old adage is true. I don't know if it's in Proverbs, but it should be. If it seems too good to be true, it almost always is. Okay? Let's remember that. 31, a gray head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. Okay. A lot of people have gray hair. Yeah, I have some gray here. Crown of glory. I mean, you are wiser than most if you have lived long enough to have gray hair, okay? Even not, following the Lord. You get gray hair just by living long enough, and that alone is a testament. Some people are evil and are destroyed young in life and taken away before they have a chance to get gray hair. Right? 32, he who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who captures a city. Okay? Slow to anger. Right? Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. He was slow to anger by listening, okay? And by listening, before you formulate your answer, you should be listening to what another person is saying. Listening to it, the whole thing. Don't even start thinking, well, this is what I'm going to say back to them, until they're finished, okay? Then you will find yourself being slow to anger. You're better than the mighty. if you're a patient person, right? And if you commit to only saying kind and uplifting things, if that's all that comes out of your mouth, you will find yourself being slower and slower to anger. Okay? And sometimes it can't be helped. Okay? There is a righteous anger. Jesus got angry when he saw people in the church. It was a synagogue back then, but in the church, selling things, cash register, money changers. That's cash register. Retails, right? They had retail inside the church. You have retail inside your church? Is there a coffee shop? Bookstore? Think about that. Would Jesus be turning over tables? Maybe. They were giving people change for big thing, giving them smaller things so they didn't have to give that much to the church. And they were also selling birds and doves and animals and sacrifices. Okay, a sacrifice was supposed to be your best from your flock, not just buying a bird to just token. It doesn't work that way. Okay, 33, the lot is cast into the lot, but every decision is from the Lord. Right? They used to cast lots. Now they flip coins now at football games. And do they ever argue? It's a little coin, and when it lands, they say that's what it is, right? Decision from the Lord. So there you go. That's Proverbs 16. We highlighted quite a bit of stuff in here, and we'll go over the highlights. We'll do the righteous ones, right? Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice, right? It's more important to be righteous, okay, than to have great income with injustice, right? Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and he who speaks right is love, right? They say kind things, right? A gray head is the crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness, right? You live long enough. So what else did we highlight in here? Highlight a part or two. All the ways of the man are clean in his own sight. You think you're doing the right thing, but the Lord weighs the motives. Right? Right? I'm giving this person my guitar because I'm kind and I want him to have it and he deserves it. But I'll be able to buy a new guitar, better guitar. Right? Is that your motive? Okay. Think about that. The Lord weighs the motives. Letter 5. Everyone who is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Everyone. You got that? Everyone who is prideful is an abomination to the Lord. Right? Pride is not a thing that God likes. He likes humble. He likes meek. Okay? Let other people build you up. Okay? And assuredly, he will not be unpunished. Okay? They celebrate pride now, don't they? Not the good kind of pride either. Okay, we did the righteous ones. 16 is highlighted. How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen above silver. Right? Know the wisdom and understand. Right? That's why we pick up verses and we expound on them to understand what they're saying. Okay? '18 is highlighted. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before stumbling. Right? You have pride, looking down your nose. You're better than everybody else. Right? You're not better than everybody else. Okay? Everybody in a room knows something that you don't know. So you're not even all-knowing. Only God is all-knowing. Right? Pride goes before destruction. If you're proud, right, you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. Okay? And it is better to be humble in spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. Okay? You know, hanging around a group of humble people, that's just a very refreshing experience. Everybody, thinks that, oh, you're better than me. Being humble. Okay? I remember when I was, I was a worship leader for many years. That's why I'm the God singer. I would always tell the worship team, right? And we had, at times, I had some extremely talented musicians. And I would always drive the point home. You have to think of every other member in the band as better than you are, all right? Be humble. You are doing your best to make them sound as good as they can, right? And everybody in the band was humble, and everybody, the bass guitarist was trying to make the drummer, trying to bring out the drummer and the beats, and the drummer was trying to bring out the guitars and the bass and playing off, and everybody was building up the other person, and you had a band that was tight and that sounded wonderful. Okay? Humble. Right? Better to be humble in spirit with the lowly. Okay, 20's highlighted. He who gives attention to the word will find good, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. All right? What are we doing here? We are giving attention to the word. Okay? I do this twice a day, every day, because, right? I trust in the Lord. I want to be blessed. I want to be righteous. 21 was highlighted. The wise in heart will be called understanding. And this is the important one. And sweetness of speech increases persuasiveness, right? Say kind things. Say uplifting things. I'm going to edify this person and lift them up and make them feel better, right? It's much more persuasive. I added the word understanding, okay? Understanding is the key, okay? Getting wisdom is one thing, but it always says you must get understanding, okay? Getting the wisdom is the most important part. Understanding is the second most important part. Knowing what it means. The heart of the wise instructs his mouth and adds persuasiveness to his lips. That's 23, right? You instruct your mouth to say kind things, and not just blurt stuff out, right? Why? Because pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Wouldn't you rather be sweet to somebody's soul and heal them, make them feel better? Right? And we highlighted 27 and 28. A worthless man digs up evil while his words are like scorching fire. Like that, his lips. A perverse man spreads strife, and a slanderer separates intimate friends. Gossip, 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 right? You're not helping somebody if you gossip to somebody else about something he told you he was having a problem with. That is his business to tell somebody else and not theirs, okay? I mean, these are two separate verses. They kind of go together and they kind of don't, okay? A worthless man digs up evil while his words are like scorching fire. Somebody who does not say kind things. There are people who only say mean things and people who tear apart things. And right? You can find a little flaw. A person can spend his whole life doing thousands and thousands of good deeds and helping the poor. And the one time he slips up is the one time somebody will talk about forever. Oh, he's the one that did that. Right? No, he's the one that was good and did all these good things. No, he did that. A worthless man digs up evil. Yeah. That kind of reminds me of the story of the Christmas Carol. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the name Ebenezer Scrooge? He was an evil, horrible person that said, bah, humbug, and hated kids and hated Christmas and was stingy and selfish. Okay? That's not who he was. That's who he was. That's not who he is. Okay? It's just a fiction story, but at the end of the book, he was kind, he was benevolent, kept Christmas in his heart all day, loved kids, paid for doctor bills, right? Spread his money around. He was a good, kind, wonderful person, but you don't think that. You only think of the bad, right? Digging up the evil. Think about that, right? When somebody says, "Who is Ebenezer Scrooge?" Fictional character. Oh, he was a kind, benevolent, caring person who loved his fellow man, right? That should be the first thing that comes to your mind. 31 is highlighted, a gray head is a crown of glory. It is found in the way of righteousness. Okay? Like I said, just growing old and getting gray hair. Right? That's a testament right there in this world. Okay, 32, he who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who captures a city. Right? Slow to anger. Right? Can you be slow to anger? Kind, benevolent, right? Doing good. You are better than the mighty, right? And the warrior who gets angry and takes a city. Okay? Oh, there you go. That is Proverbs 16. I notice these are getting longer and longer as we learn and understand more and more as we read them over and over again. But that's okay. I'm seeing what we're doing through the New Testament in here. I think today we are finishing. Yep. Today we are finishing Matthew 27. This is the crucifixion. Jesus was crucified and he gave up his spirit, in yesterday's episode, and today all the stuff that happens, and we will tear this apart today because a lot of stuff happened when he died that were very, very significant. Okay? So stay tuned for that later on today. Give us a like if you think about it. But tomorrow we'll keep going. See ya.